Fire, fire, fire.
The moment Mark Zuckerberg realized Meta was failing. Dude, try to monetize Facebook so hard, man. Dude, it's time. It's time. We need more spanking of Mark Zuckerberg, the lizard.
Take a second to imagine that a scientist offers you a deal. You lie down in a comfortable bed. Nurses take care of your body. You're plugged into a machine that
Whoa, why does he say it like that so sensually?
Stimulates your brain directly.
Whoa,
Inside this simulation, you
stimulates your
experience
what?
everything you've ever wanted. Adventure, love, success, achievement, perfect happiness.
Wow.
All faultlessly calibrated to your desires.
Oh,
It feels
I've seen a movie about this before. Isn't this The Matrix?
completely legit. You won't know you're in the machine. You'll think you're actually living this incredible life.
Keanu
There's
Reeves
just one
warned
catch.
me about this.
None of it is real. You're told that before you enter. The question is, would you plug in? This is the experience machine, a thought experiment proposed by philosopher Robert Nozick in 1974. Most people when asked say no and refuse, even when promised unlimited pleasure and perfect experiences. Most people choose reality over simulation. Why?
Well, it's not even that. People would argue that if you know everything is brilliant and awesome all the time, how would you know that it's awesome if you don't feel pain? Yeah, that's what I always make the argument. It's like, how do you get to the point that you know you're super duper fucking happy if you don't know what it's like to not be happy? Like, you just don't know.
Because humans still ultimately value more than just feeling good. We care about authenticity, about living life as properly as we can, and not merely experiencing the sensation of living it. In other words, we value reality, even if it can be messy and challenging sometimes. Now, meet Mark Zuckerberg, who in October 2021 stood before the world and announced that humanity's future wasn't in reality at all. Our future was in the metaverse, a virtual world where you'd work, socialize, exercise, and live.
Yeah, but it's ugly too. I think that's the biggest failure. People sit in VR chat for 16 hours a fucking day, and they don't give a fuck.
As an escape like a normal video game, but as our primary existence. He was willing to bet $70 billion that Nozick was wrong. That when offered the chance to plug into a machine, we'd all jump from our chairs and say yes. He was spectacularly, catastrophically wrong, and thank God
he didn't have cat girls in it. That's his biggest problem. Even Elon Musk is always teasing us about the fucking cat girls.
for that. And the metaverse went on to become big tech's most notorious failure. But the future might not always be that way. You see, it's fair to say that the metaverse got off to a great start, all stemming from one of tech's grandest ambitions. When Zuckerberg first announced the rebranding of Facebook as Meta, it felt like technology was about to write a new chapter that mirrored huge milestones such as the personal computer going mainstream, or just the creation of the internet itself.
That was
He demonstrated the future by diving into the metaverse himself, where he and his friends sat around in space playing cards, chatting casually as if gravity was optional.
See, this is the dumb shit. Why the fuck would I want to be myself when I could be a fucking cat girl with big honkers? Why would I want to be a dumbass robot? Why would I want to look like myself?
You could bring anything into this world: music, art, images, games. You could throw surprise birthday parties or host virtual concerts. The main point was it broke down the barrier between our imaginations and the world we want to live in. It's a compelling—
It failed because you can't goon. True. In VR chat, you can goon.
pitch in a world where people are more dissatisfied with real life than ever. And it felt like a logical progression as well, because one of technology's main aims is to reduce friction and make processes faster and smoother. Think about the first pieces of technology humans ever made, like the wheel. It solved the very pressing practical challenge of moving heavy items from A to B, quite literally removing friction in the process. Now think about when Facebook invented the original like button. Instead of taking the time out of your day to write a comment on someone's photo or status, you can then just sum it all up as one single action that takes
path of least resistance, that's right.
a fraction of a second. content. It removes all friction. Endless scrolling on social media removes the friction of clicking onto the next page. Algorithms remove the friction of knowing what to even watch. Now, I'm obviously not comparing all of this to the wheel, but from this very basic perspective, the metaverse's aims of removing life's frictions tracks technology's long-term logic. Instead of going literally anywhere, you can strap that headset to your head and you're there already. When it was first designed, it was divided into several sections to reduce friction among different elements of our lives. You can step into Horizon Home, your virtual living space where you can hang out alone or invite friends for virtual parties. Or hop into
That is so fucking cringe. Never in my entire life, my entire existence have I thought, yeah, I really want to like hang out with my friends but not have any physical interaction with them. Like, I already don't like social interaction, but then to top it off, I can't even see them. Like, I can't even like shake their hand.
Horizon worlds, where according to Zuckerberg himself, you could build worlds and jump into them with people.
Yeah, and they suck! Like, VR chat already did this, and it's older than the metaverse.
Your social life would flourish because everyone would be waiting and willing to hang out in the metaverse.
No, they fucking wouldn't. The fuck?
It was pitched like a modern version of those MSN conversations from the early 2000s.
Yeah, except you have to buy a headset that costs like $200, American dollars, by the way. Whereas MSN is fucking free. And it comes installed on your fucking computer. Dumbass. Hello, I'm Bill Gates, chairman of Microsoft. I am typing on MSN.
Or like group chats or Discord servers today, except you're there in person as an avatar. Again, the whole message here was to make it sound like a natural continuation, like a stepping stone in normal technological development, which is exactly what they bet on. Meta bet on the assumption that we take all of this in our stride like we did Facebook. The like button, short-form video, AI slop, and countless other technologies.
Slop.
Backstage, Facebook had started laying the foundations years earlier. They acquired Oculus, the OG virtual reality startup, for around $2 billion. In 2020, they formed Reality Labs, a new division dedicated entirely to the metaverse, where they redirected thousands of top engineers. As what's disturbing about the metaverse isn't just the headsets or virtual worlds, it's the direction we're moving in. Every new digital layer means more data, more tracking, more systems quietly watching from the background. And that's already happening right now in ways far more invasive than most people realize. Let me show you this. This is a real report from Data Brokers. It's 11 pages long. They claim to know your name, address history, phone numbers, relatives, work history, interests, even patterns about when you're most likely to respond online, all collected without your consent and sold to basically anyone willing to pay. This isn't personalized ads. This is a shadow version of your life being traded for profit. They make billions doing this, and they make almost no effort to stop scammers, stalkers, or criminals from buying it. That's why today's sponsor actually matters. Aura, our video sponsor, helps you fight back, as Aura identifies data brokers selling your personal information and automatically removes it, then keeps it off. You don't have to chase hundreds of shady sites yourself. Aura does the hard part for you, and unlike other services, Aura bundles everything together. Dark web alerts, real-time fraud monitoring, a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, 24/7 US-based support, and $5 million in identity theft insurance if something does go wrong. We're not going off the grid, but we don't have to be completely exposed either. And you can try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/moon. I'm not even myself vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. Here's something else that's critical to understand how this timeline evolved. Facebook desperately needed to pivot after the Cambridge Analytica scandal, which exposed how 87 million users' data was harvested to manipulate elections worldwide. The Social Dilemma documentary revealed how social media was engineered to exploit human psychology. Zuck really just became the weird poster boy. The lizard persona was what everyone hated about big tech. It was weird, awkward, vacant,
Dude, I will never forget these trials where he's like drinking water. Like, honestly, I will give him the benefit of the doubt because he was really, really nervous. Like, I mean, realistically, if I was in a room with a bunch of people and they all fucking hated me, I'd be nervous too. But like, the way he moved, the way he talked,
touch, emotionless, and not representative of the populations he wanted to change.
I get it. He was very stressed out, but like at the same time, like, couldn't you, like, I don't know, fidget like everybody else?
Before Zuckerberg, people tolerated, liked, or even loved leaders like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. Zuckerberg flipped that on its head. Facebook wasn't cool anymore, it wasn't trusted, and it definitely wasn't loved. So when it became Meta, it was both a literal and metaphorical escape from what Facebook had become. A shiny new virtual world, a fresh name, no news feeds, no misinformation scandals, no hearings, just avatars and endless possibilities. And then, as they were warming us up to the idea of retreating into their new world,
like
the COVID
lizards.
lockdowns hit everyone.
Yep.
For nearly 2 years, we'd been
That was a
forced
big
into a
scandal.
massive digital experiment. Remember how we lived and learned on Zoom calls, celebrated birthdays with
God, this was so fucking lame, man. I hated this.
video chats, attended virtual weddings, virtual concerts, and worked from home while staring at screens for 12 hours a day. Suddenly, the metaverse started looking almost necessary.
No, it didn't. The fuck? I could go to VR chat.
Numerous other virtual reality
Hell
companies entered the
no.
game, only to totally evaporate when everything lifted. That was really a crazy time for technology, and
Yeah, that was a big, massive bubble too. This happened to like streamers. It happened to every single company. It happened at my job actually too. Not to like go into detail or anything, but basically right before COVID happened, they were like thinking about doing cuts. When COVID happened, they said, "Yeah, fuck it, we're not getting any people in. We're cutting 90% of the staff," and then they rehired about 30% of them after COVID. And I was like, by the way, I was one of them that fucking got cut. I didn't get rehired, but I was still molding. I was pissed. All my friends that I still talk to were like, "Yeah, Alana, we got our jobs back," and I was like, "Oh, awesome." Oh well, what can you do?
a bubble that just makes
Part of the
no
reason why I
sense
became a
today.
VTuber?
People spending literally
Yeah.
millions on Bored Ape NFTs that are now worth
Should
pennies.
thank them.
Snoop Dogg launched his own Snoopverse and created his own virtual mansion, complete with NFT drops, private events, and music
Of course, NFT drops at my party.
experiences. People
Yes,
literally paid
little fleecing, I like that.
$450,000 just to own property near his estate.
A retard and his money are easily parted.
Celebrities announced metaverse concerts, and they even brought Biggie Smalls back from the dead with the
Now that's fucked up, man.
notorious Big Sky's the Limit, a
Yep.
VR concert experience
He's
in
dead.
December 2022. Big brands like Nike, Gucci, and Walmart all joined the party. Gucci sold a virtual handbag in Roblox for $4,115.
What?
$15. Yes, that's more expensive than the real physical bag cost in actual stores.
No. Average Gucci bag price between $9,000 to $3,500. Shoulder bags falling into the range of $1,500 to $2,500. It costs $4,000 for a virtual Roblox Gucci bag. Isn't that a kid's game? Who the fuck? Dude, if you bought this, you need to be put on a register. Why the fuck are you buying? Like, who the fuck has the money, first of all, to buy a designer fake fucking virtual bag, and then it's for a kid's game? Hello?
People were literally paying more for pixels than leather. So you can
What
see
the
how Meta
fuck?
had every reason
Like,
to
yeah, all this crap is all artificial and superficial, but at least it's a fucking bag. You can use the bag. You can put your phone in the bag. Huh?
believe they were on to an absolute winner going into 2022. That year, Citibank made this extraordinary prediction. Quote, the total addressable market for the metaverse could be between $8 trillion and $13 trillion by 2030, with total metaverse users numbering around 5 billion. This is over half of the world's population, basically the same as smartphones. Imagine everyone you know with smartphones plugging themselves into the metaverse every day.
No.
This is what venture
The only thing I'm plugging in is a... Never mind.
capitalists genuinely
You have to be such a fucking idiot. What are you doing?
expected. But it wasn't long after that wild prediction that the
Pause?
dominoes started falling. The metaverse today is just totally dead, looking more like this.
Where is everybody?
Huh?
Less than a year after launch,
That $450,000 I spent to live, to buy my Snoop Dogg neighbor's house, everyone doesn't live there anymore? Boo!
Horizon Worlds reportedly had a pathetic 200,000 monthly active users, and those numbers just kept falling to then hit 8,000 and then fewer than 1,000 people globally across
Oh my god. They have less daily users than fucking than Concord 3.
the entire platform.
Then hi,
and that was 2
guys.
years ago, so it's probably an absolute ghost town now.
Yeah,
Let's
I
put this into
bet.
perspective. Citibank was predicting 5 billion users. Meta got, at best, a few 100,000, and at worst, under 1,000 at any given time. Which brings us to the most important question of all. When everything, including fate itself, lined up to make the metaverse successful, how did it exactly go so drastically wrong? The experience machine gave 3 specific reasons why humans would refuse to plug into a system like the metaverse, even when promised unlimited pleasure and perfect experiences.
'Cause it's dog
First,
shit.
we actually want to do things, not just experience the sensation of doing them.
I just think it's dog shit. That's really the biggest reason. Because, like, the counter argument is like, okay, how many Steam charts, VR chat? How many people are playing VR chat right now this second? 79,000 16 days ago, 41,000 players right now. And there's probably a lot more on other platforms because VR chat isn't exclusively to Steam. Like, yeah, why would you fucking do anything but that?
There's a difference
Yeah,
between
and you can goon on VR chat if you want to.
climbing a real mountain and simulating the feeling of climbing one. Second, we want to be a certain type of person. As Nozick put it, someone floating in a tank is an indeterminate blob. Is he courageous, kind, intelligent, witty, loving? It's not merely that it's difficult to tell, there's no way he is. Plugging into the machine is a kind of suicide. In other words, you can't be brave in a simulation because there's no real risk. You can't be kind because your actions have no genuine impact. Your character, your identity requires actual choices with actual consequences.
Also, why the fuck would I climb a mountain? Isn't the whole point of climbing a mountain is to work out? What the fuck is the point of climbing a mountain? Like, in VR. Like, in a video game, it's different because there's, like, a different incentive for it. Like, maybe you're getting a fucking high score. Like, why?
In the real
For the
world.
vibes? I
Thirdly,
guess so.
plugging into a machine limits us to a manufactured reality, so there's no contact with any deeper reality, no genuine discovery, nothing surprising. Everything is designed, created, and controlled. The
Oh,
metaverse
well, that's where the AI-generated bullshit comes in.
was asking people to do exactly what Nozick predicted they'd refuse.
Didn't they want to make, like, games that were generated by AI so that there's no developers anymore?
Meta essentially built a $70 billion experience machine, then acted shocked when people said no. People were just horrified that they even thought they could pull this off. And luckily, modern psychology has seemingly proven Nozick right repeatedly. Multiple studies since 2010 have tested variations of the experience machine on real people, tweaking scenarios and framing to eliminate bias, and people still refused to plug in. Even when they told subjects they were already inside and could stay.
This is awesome.
If they wanted, the majority would still always choose reality over simulation. Zuckerberg seemingly thought that none of this mattered, and that just because the technology is there and looks cool, everyone will want to use it.
You think that walking around in real life with a stupid fucking VR headset is cool? This guy's a fucking nerd, dude.
Bottom line is that it doesn't work like that. The biologist E.O. Wilson once said, "The real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. Our brains evolved for small tribes, for face-to-face interaction, for reading body language and facial expressions. We're wired to trust what we can see and touch. Now we're living in a world of infinite connectivity, algorithmic feeds, and virtual experiences, all technology that moves faster than evolution ever could." Tech exploited this void ruthlessly, turning likes into dopamine hits and outrage into engagement, and removing friction from human interaction. Don't walk to a store, order online. Don't meet friends in person, just text them.
Some people
Don't make
like
a phone
that.
call, send a message. We all know the very tools designed to connect us were making us feel more alone than ever. This was the big scandal in the 2010s with Facebook altogether. The lie that it's ever been social at all. But those are all
Now it used to be full of ads. Now it's full of ads and it's full of bots.
just the problems. What Meta failed to understand was that the metaverse solution doesn't solve those problems. We're running Stone Age social software with emotional systems that weren't designed for virtual worlds. You can exploit it, but changing it is a different proposition. Meta seemed to think this was a temporary technical issue they could fix by improving graphics or making avatars more realistic. But the first reason the metaverse failed so spectacularly—
And this is what they don't get, is that they're trying to make it as realistic as possible. Realistically, people who fucking want to run away from their problems, they don't want to have ultra realistic fucking like, oh, I'm a big fat American. I want to be as fat as I am in real life in my game or in my metaverse.
Wasn't technical at all. It was existential. Meta Solution ticked all the boxes from a business perspective. It aimed to remove even more friction by asking us to strap on headsets and enter virtual spaces to bring us together again. But it didn't solve the problem because it didn't bring us together. The important distinction is that we do accept virtual experiences for escapism, such as gaming, entertainment, and things understood to be fantasy. Games are so compelling because they're supposed to be different from real life. The life activities, work meetings, socializing with friends, exercise. The metaverse failure proves there are limits. It's not a miss, it's a complete and total misreading of human nature at a scale rarely seen in modern business. It was fighting against millions of years of human evolution, but the product itself also failed in its own right and couldn't be salvaged even as a worthwhile experiment. I mean, first there was the cost barrier. To even enter the metaverse,
yeah, I literally was about to say that.
Have to spend hundreds of dollars on a VR headset. When the Meta Quest Pro launched in October 2022, it cost $1,499.
And that's the only thing it does. It's just for using it for like VR chat and all this bullshit. If you get a phone, at least you can have like a million multitude of things that you could do with it.
$99. That alone filtered out most people. The whole reason social media exploded was because it was frictionless. Open up a laptop, sign up in 5 minutes, and suddenly you're connected to everyone you know. Then you needed to learn motion controls, figure out how to move, talk, gesture, mute and unmute yourself, and teleport between spaces. Nothing was intuitive, nothing was quick, there was nothing fast about the setup. And once you've got past the technical hurdles and finally logged in, you arrived in worlds that were virtually empty. When you did find people, the experience was just deeply underwhelming. The graphics looked like they were from the
Dude, I was the fucking Mii's, man. And people complain the shit out of the fucking Mii's. And everyone's just a torso? Oh, we want to make ultra realistic graphics. What? Oh yeah, I want to talk to someone that's a literal floating torso. Very realistic.
Underwhelming. The graphics looked like they were from the 2006 Nintendo Wii, not a platform that would cost billions to develop. And then there were the legs, or rather the complete absence of them. When the metaverse launched, avatars were just floating torsos, no legs, just people hovering from the waist up, which looked really bizarre and unnerving. In October 2022, Zuckerberg proudly announced that legs were coming soon. They didn't appear in beta testing until nearly a year later, and even then they barely worked. You couldn't crouch or jump, you could only see your legs from third-person views or in a mirror. So the product was quite literally and figuratively legless. When some brave individuals did start to see what it was all about, almost immediately reports flooded in of how terrible—
You can't even make the excuse of like, oh, the tech isn't there. Fucking VR chat, man.
This place really was. All the toxicity that festered on social media platforms came right into virtual spaces. In February 2022, a female psychotherapist reported being brutally harassed within 60 seconds of joining. Male avatars surrounded her, making
the word how does this happen to you when you can literally take your glasses off and just like put them down? What? Like I'm not one to like make jokes about serious situations like this. Like, okay, like oh yeah, people get hurt every day, right? But this is virtual. You turn off the computer and you walk away.
Male avatars surrounded her, making explicit gestures and comments. She said,
"Within 60 seconds of joining, I was verbally and sexually harassed. 3 to 4 male avatars with male voices, essentially, but virtually gang raped my avatar and took photos."
In those early days, it was easy to view the metaverse as not
This makes light of situations of like people actually getting gang raped. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Quite ready, but the longer things went on, you began to understand it wasn't only the product that was broken, it was the entire system behind it. Remember, Facebook had become one of the most successful companies in history by developing—
Like, imagine being like an actual victim of this kind of violence in real life, and then this bitch walks up to you and is like, yeah, I went on the meta universe or whatever it's called, and I got the same thing happened to me. They like walked up to me and said slurs. It's like, Bitch, the fuck do you mean? We're not the same.
A product that fundamentally changed how humans communicate. They were great at social media, but what happened behind the scenes with the metaverse shows the wheels came off on more levels than one. John Carmack, one of gaming's most legendary engineers, the mind behind Doom and Quake, left Meta in 2022, and his exit was devastating. In public posts and internal memos that later leaked, Carmack didn't hold back. He described Meta's VR efforts as bloated, slow, and wildly inefficient. Inside Meta, employees reportedly couldn't even agree on what the metaverse even was. One group thought they were building YouTube, another thought it was supposed to be a casual World of Warcraft. Was it a platform, a product, a social space?
Bro, casual World of Warcraft, just go play Classic, you fucking idiot.
A software suite? Nobody was quite sure. Zuckerberg's hopelessly vague catchphrase slogans like move fast, build awesome things, and live in the future really weren't helping.
He's a great
He then
marketer.
posted that infamous selfie of his avatar standing in front of the
I have seen things you cannot imagine. Horrifying things.
Eiffel Tower, and words can't describe how honestly terrible it looks, and the internet reacted as you'd expect. He quickly released a new avatar that did look better, but the damage was already done. Even Meta's own employees hated the experience. According to leaked memos published in The Verge, the company was pushing staff to spend more time in the metaverse, but it was a not too secret disaster. Internal VR meetings were described as, quote, exhausting and borderline unusable. Sometimes it took 20 or 30 minutes just for everyone to log in. Audio wouldn't work, avatars wouldn't load, people would freeze, float, or vanish mid-sentence. Meetings would still restart and eventually fall apart, so they'd just jump on normal video calls and get the job done the old school way. Think about that. The people who built the metaverse, who used it for free, who were literally paid to be there, even they couldn't stand it. The VP of the metaverse sent an internal memo that laid bare the crisis. Quote, for many of us, we don't spend that much time on Horizon, and our dogfooding dashboards show this pretty clearly. Why is that? Why don't we love the product we've built so much that we use it all the time? The simple truth is, if we don't love it, how can we expect our users to love it? But even after that, he tried to brainwash himself and others, saying, quote, everyone in this organization should make it their mission to fall in love with Horizon worlds. But eventually, the financials showed what we all know now. Meta's Reality Labs division posted an operating loss of about 13.7.
This is what corpos will never understand. If it's truly like a really innovative thing, people will flock to it, and you can't you can't force people to like a product.
$1 billion in a single year. The company's stock had fallen roughly 70% from its peak. For the first time in nearly 20 years, Facebook was in survival mode. Mass layoffs followed, and between November 2022 and May 2023, approximately 20,000 employees were cut, which is roughly a quarter of the entire workforce.
Wow.
That's just absolutely insane considering how big and powerful Facebook had just been a few years before. By 2024, Meta quietly made another move, opening Horizon OS to non-Meta hardware. On the surface, it sounded like expansion. In reality, it was an admission that Meta couldn't sustain this ecosystem alone. So after all of that, where did Meta go? Well, to be fair to them, they did retreat sensibly to AR glasses. We've all seen the post tagged with made with Meta Ray-Ban glasses flooding our Instagram streams.
Yeah.
Once the metaverse hype collapsed.
See, that's more organic because it's a world where everybody wants to fucking record everything all the time. Everyone's chronically online. They want to fucking capture everything, which sucks ultimately for privacy. But it's discreet and it's convenient. Like, that's a good product. Like, I don't know how they fucking didn't think of that earlier. Like, I don't mean like it's a good product, it's good for the world. I actually think it really fucking sucks that like at any moment someone could be recording you, even if it's not for malicious purposes. It's like, I think it's cringe. Like let experiences be experiences.
Wiley doubled down on this idea,
but I do think this is a good idea because it's convenient.
It's doing pretty well. By the end of 2024, 1 million had been sold, and the next evolution released in 2025 with an augmented reality display embedded in the lens is even more popular. Sales tripled in the first half of 2025, and with another partnership with Oakley, Meta may have now suddenly found a niche. Let's think about the qualitative difference between AR and VR. AR works with our world and by definition augments it, while VR virtualizes it. While these technologies are often proposed to exist in a continuum, AR poses a very different existential question to swerve around the experience machine's problem. In fact, Meta's AR and VR products couldn't be more polarized. Meta's Ray-Ban glasses are designed to film the world from our perspective in a way other cameras, even smartphones, can't. They're positioned at eye level, creating content that feels natural, bringing others into the user's perspective of the physical world we inhabit. And VR isn't necessarily dead and lives to fight another day. Quest headsets still exist, as does the metaverse.
Yeah, it's a cheap alternative also if you want to play VR chat. If you don't want to buy the whole Steam VR chat, the Steam headset, it's a lot cheaper, it's just worse.
But it's just a major puzzle for futurists everywhere. People have been saying it'll be the next best thing for over 30 years, but it just hasn't happened.
Yeah, for sure.
The Apple Vision Pro proved that too, showing how fundamental the challenges really are and how much people really reject this kind of technology. And so when all is said and done, the metaverse might just be the most expensive technological prescription ever written for a disease nobody had. Big tech is usually amazing at creating problems and then selling us the solutions, but they really screwed this one up by looking at a world exhausted by screens and just giving us more screens. They saw isolation caused by convenient technology and sold more convenient technology as the solution.
Well, it's again, this is just always dog shit. Like, you can sell with the loneliness epidemic that we were talking about, people found a way to make money off of it and people bought it because it was a decent product. This fucking shit sucks.
Except with one key difference. This time it was entirely fake. You can see parallels to AI now. AI technology is inescapable, the market is booming, but all the tech companies are buying into their own hype, buying from each other in a circular monopoly that's inflating the numbers through intense speculation. It's way bigger than even the metaverse, and is
OpenAI, look at that, dude.
That's inflating.
Go back. I like that graph. Go back. There we go. Yeah, OpenAI, Harvey AI, Ambience Healthcare. That's insane. Look. Microsoft 3. Look at this giant right here. They're all fighting for each other. Yeah, Nvidia's actually grown bigger than fucking Microsoft. Because Microsoft's been shitting the bed and stagnating. And this is all fake money, by the way. This is not real, like, oh, this is worth $4.5 trillion if they sold everything. It doesn't mean anything. They're all dependent on each other, too.
For now. It could also breathe new life into the metaverse with self-creating virtual worlds that make something like the experience machine more possible and dystopianly controllable. But you've got to ask yourself the question, do people even...
And there's no moderation for it either.
Like or want this AI technology? If you give people the option, would they go back to a time where art and music was created the proper human way, when writing wasn't full of AI filler words and our social media feeds were full of real content we could trust? Big tech is constantly ramming AI features into phones and computers, but so few people are using them. Microsoft made a big deal about integrating Copilot into all of their products, but does anyone really use it? Same with Google's AI features.
I've never used it in my entire life. I think I disabled it back in like Windows 9, I think it was. Chat, how many of you have used Copilot? Never in my life.
Same with the ones Apple embedded into iPhones.
I used it once for code.
Sure, there's undoubtedly some useful workflows, but like the metaverse, can it justify the industry
Windows
prediction?
9, sorry. Windows 9, why did I say that? Windows, your mom, bro! I'm fried, dude.
Or is it just a bubble bound to collapse, leading to massive stock price collapses and layoffs? It's clear the metaverse failed because Meta fundamentally misread what humans value. They're so desensitized and detached that they just completely forgot what the human experience even is. They prescribed a solution that ignored everything we know about how humans function. They removed friction from human connection for years, creating an epidemic of loneliness, and then asked us to strap on expensive headsets to solve it like magic.
If only strapping on Mark Zuckerberg's face reading AI technology could give me happiness in life. I don't know, man. $300 for a headset or being miserable and not giving Mark Zuckerberg money. What a choice to make. A slow claptures day? Yeah, I think it was a little bit of interesting AI day, introspection kind of vibes. It does feel dissociative. I don't think Mark Zuckerberg in itself understands what the fuck he's talking about half the time. Yeah, we need We need technology where you strap your face into like a helmet and then you like talk to people and they're all like floating heads with no legs. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It's so dumb. Go check them out. I like Moon's videos. Very cool. We need buzzword. Yeah, it was really fun. Good video.
Fire, 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 fire.